Hey there, Heather Ho there. It's Jeff Cutter. I'm welcoming you to another Stone Cold Hockey Tournament. We're doing the 1967-68 season with the St. Louis Blues, the first expansion team to make the Stanley Cup Finals, trying to get them into the finals. And the West is kind of a big mess, but we're still second place despite a 5-game winless streak. I didn't play it too many games, but we got lucky and all that. We're 3 points behind Pittsburgh. We're tied with Philly, and Elliott has 33 points. Minnesota has 32, so it's just a battle royale. Toronto, Montreal, Rangers, and Boston all are likely to make the playoffs from the East. Chicago and Detroit don't look like they're going to be happy. We're at the halfway point of the season. 37 games have been done, and practically we don't do well in the mid-season. Stan Mikita and Bobby Hall have put up goals galore, 29 and 28. Bill Cub by Flight with 21. Our best goal scorer is not even there. Assist wise, Gordie Howe with 32, Russo with 30, Ross Gilbert with 26. We don't have a top 30 assist guy either. Points, Makita with 52, Howe with 43, Roger Gilbert with 42. What we do lead is the penalty minutes. Noah Picard 99, Barclay Plager 95. Bob Plager has 52, and Fred Huckle has 45. You know, we have 4 guys in the top 30 in penalty minutes. Goals against, Gump Worsley looks like he's the man with Cesar Monego and Johnny Bauer. Glenn Hollis dropped to 9th on our list. He has 4 shots, though. Excuse me. So, yeah, Dave Dryden has 1 win. He has more wins than Roy Edwards. Less wins than Roy Edwards. Yeah, his goals against is better than Roy Edwards and even Gary Bowman. Standings wise, we are second. We've played 36 games. The fewest, tied for the fewest in the NHL with Philly and Minnesota. Pittsburgh's played 37. LA's played 38. Oakland's played 39. It's been 37 and 38 in the East. Well, Montreal and Chicago played 38. So the points percentage is kind of the same. We have scored 84 goals, which is third in the division. 93 goals against. We're second best in goals against in the group with 93. I don't know how. We have a -9 goals against. Pitt Philly's got a +1 yet. You know, they're behind us. We're 9-6-3 at home, 4-9-5 on the road. We're just terrible on the road. Our 5 games below 500 is second to Philly's 4 games below 500 on the road. Toronto has still not. Toronto's only had 1 tie. Detroit's only tied 3 times. Teams wise, you see our standings and all that. We had that horrible 5 game streak. We beat Pittsburgh, but we lost to Toronto and all that. Stats wise, Gary Melnick with 20 points, Terry Crisp 16, Frank Marcelo 16. Brad Berenson has 13, despite the fact he's only played like a few games for us. Jerry Melnick's the only guy in double digits with me. Hall 80-85 is goalie. Martin 4-5-2. Callie 1-2-1. Highlights wise, our best win in Chicago. Our worst lost 6-0 to the Rangers. A 6-goal loss. Only Minnesota suffered a worse loss, a 7-goal loss to Chicago. There have been 10 hat tricks in the NHL. Stan Mikita has 3 of them. Duff, Ecclestone, Joyle, Chabert, Hall, Flett, and Delfecchio doing it. And 2 of the last 3 hat tricks were against us, of course. Boston at Chicago, the #1 fan game at 28 points when Boston avoided losing to the Blackhawks. Oakland, Boston on Christmas Day when Oakland was up 3-0 but lost to Boston. The #2 team, and Chicago, Oakland for November 5th. That's the third best team because Oakland was winning. Our best game was LA on December 6th when we went 4-3. Now we are going to take a look. We are playing January 6th. We're playing the LA Kings, and we have Seth Martin against Wayne Rutledge. Rutledge, Sawchuk trying to take a job after the Stanley Cup Finals, and Toronto had to protect only one goalie, and they went Bauer. Jacques Caron also in net for the LA Kings. For us, Glenn Hall, #1, Seth Martin, #2, Don Kelly, #3. Red Berenson, the Red Baron, who we picked up from the Rangers in December. Frank Marcelo there, Jerry Melnick, Jimmy Roberts, not the tennis commentator, Bill McCurry, the uncle of referee Bill McCurry, Gary Sabourin, Larry Keenan, Terry Crisp, who won Stanley Cup as a player with the Flyers and as a coach with the Flames, Don McKenney, the forgotten guy in the Rangers trade to Toronto, and the Maverick trade for Ronnie Schock, who had that double overtime goal in real life, did knock Minnesota out, get the Blues to the finals. Craig Cameron, Tim Ecclestone, Barclay Plager alongside Bob Plager, Dickie Moore, the former Hab and Leaf icon, Wayne Rivers, Fred Hucko, Roger and Noel Picard, I think they're brothers, Al Arbor, defenseman with glasses on, Norm Botan and Ray Fortin. Los Angeles, Bill Cowboy Flat, third in goals, Eddie Joyle, Lowell McDonald, Ted Irvin, who would have the famous son in another sport, Gordon Boison, Raoul Lemieux, not related to Mario Lemieux, Terry Gray, Bill White, who would be a defensive stalwart for Canada in the Summit Series, Brian Smith, who would be a respected sports broadcaster when he came home to Ottawa but was shot, Howie Menard, Howie Hughes, Doug Robinson, former Ranger, Brian Campbell, Bravo, Brett Hughes, Dave Amadeo, Davey Rolfe, Dale Rolfe, Brian Kilray, who would go on to do bigger and better things as coach of the Ottawa 67s, Jim Anderson, Billy English, Jacques Lemieux, Jim Murray, Mike Corrigan, and Larry Johnston. So we're early on. Action. No shot by Lowell. Much later. Aggression. It was McCurry for 2. Kings on the power play. Robinson can't do anything. 3 minutes later. Action. A chance for Eddie Joyle. Stopped by Martin. Nicely done. Nice job, Seth. Nice job, Seth. Battle. An agitated. Retaliatory action after the hit. LA. Bill White for 2. Retaliatory action. Chance for shot. Oh, stopped by Rutledge. And Berenson couldn't get the shot. Later on, a chance for Melnick. No. And no score through 1 period of play. We're trying to catch LA off guard. 3 minutes. A chance for Low. Whoa. Action. No balls long. No. 5 minutes later. Action. And a chance for St. Messiah. Okay, stop. 1 more minute. Kill rate gets bunked by the Blues. For us, Gary Melnick stopped by Rutledge. Why? Last moments of the first period. After couldn't do anything, and no score through 2 periods. Remember, if the Blues win or tie, then lose or tie, we simulate the next game, not play it. 4 minutes later. Lose. 4 minutes later. Burn to a twist. Very quick got it. Just 7 from Barrington and Barkley. Makes it 2-0 Blues. 4 minutes later. Battle. Oh, LA is getting testy. Brian Smith in the box. It's the Red Barons. It's 12 from Ronnie Shock. Makes it 3-0. Looks good. Can we keep the shutout? We shall keep the shutout. Seth Martin picks up a big shutout, and we take down the Kings 3-0. The third period was our friend. McKenny, Crisp, and Berenson scoring the goals. Berenson with 2 points. Good boy. We took out the Kings. And we don't have to play on Sunday. Okay, fine. Boston, Chicago, 4-4 tie. Cheevers and Dave Dryden tied. Chicago was up 3-1. Doug Mullen scored twice. Makita scored a goal. And then Turnberg. By Boston goals by Lonsberry, Espo, Hodge Sr., and Busick. Montreal, Detroit sees a tie 4-4. Gump Worsley and George Garner tied it. Montreal goals by Richard, Pocket Beliveau, Russo, and Backstrom. Detroit goals by Floyd Smith, Howie Young, Gordie Howe, and Paul Henderson, just to be cool. Toronto Rangers, Toronto Mackay, 5-2. Gamble losing to Jackman, Mahavlich, and Ellis scored. Ron Ellis got to 20. Martel, Gilbert, Goyette, Kurtenbach, and Nevin for the Rangers. LA went to Oakland and tied 3-3. Sawchuk and Hodge doing their jobs. LA was up 3-0. Low McDonald, Doug Robinson, and La Boiselle does their job. Oakland goals by Harris, Hick, and Boyer. Okay. Pittsburgh, Philly was a 4-4 tie. Binkley and Perron. So Pittsburgh was up 2-0. Dylan Bostradin. They scored Fontaine's goal and Ubrico. But Philly goes by Sutherland, Hoekstra, Rushford, and Hannigan. Monday the 8th, nothing. Tuesday, nothing. Wednesday, we're in Oakland. We got to play the Seals. Rangers lose in Chicago 5-3 as the Shorty beats Juckman. I thought this was the first time we faced Oakland, but we did not. Ranger goals by Rattel, Boom Boom, and Gilbert, but Chicago goes by Warm, Hall, Makita, and Makita. So Makita and Hall are having their goals competition, if you will. Philly, Minnesota sees a tie, 2-2. Perron and Manico with the tie. Minnesota goes by Collins and Ballon. Jimmy Watson and Peters with the goals. Pittsburgh shocks Montreal 6-3 as Basson beats Gump Worsley. Montreal goes by Ferguson, Bellefaux, and Lemaire. Pittsburgh goes by Bob Raffard, Ab McDonald, Inglefield, McCreary, Schenko, and then Ubrico. Toronto sees the Leafs go home, win 4-2 as Bauer beat Gardner. Detroit goes by Davey Roberts and Gary Bergman. Leaf goes by Frank Mahovlich, George Armstrong, Warren Ellis, and then Timmy Horton. So we go to Oakland. And we have Seth against Hodge. So Gary Suitcase Smith was not there. But yeah, Seth Martin might as well ride the hot hand. Oakland's got more ties than wins. Bill Hick, good player. Jerry Ehrman. I thought we had Jerry Ehrman. I guess we're not. I'm thinking. I thought we had him for the longest time. I thought he scored like double-digit goals. Yeah, I could have sworn. Well, who's the guy who had 10 goals? Sabrin? Yeah, I could have sworn Jerry Ehrman was our guy. Eh. Oh, it's Melnick. Too many Jerrys. Wally Boyner, George Sarbrick, Billy Harris, former Leaf, John Brenneman, Charlie Barnes, Larry Cahan. You'll hear about his name in a few days. Trust me. Alan Caron, Ted Hampson, Larry Popayin, who the Rangers thought would be a top 100 player in team history, which I don't think so. Ott Erickson, Ron Harris, you'll hear about his name in a few days soon. Jerry Odrosky, Bobby Bond, the former Leaf. Mike Loudon, Ron Beam, Joe Cesura, Tom Furby, Tracy Pratt, Bert Marshall, Bob Lemieux. So, anyway, let's do it. Way into the game. A chance for Sabra? No. 3 minutes later. Action for Ron Harris? No. Much later. Aggression? It's Warbrick. Oh, we got plumbed. 3 minutes later. Rescuers Melnick, not a Melvin. His 11 from Berenson and Rivers makes it 1-0 Blues. And that will be the lead after 20 minutes. Melnick from Berenson and Rivers. 5 minutes later. Chance for us. Shot delivers a hit. 3 minutes later. Chance for Hampson. No. Much later. Battle in the center. We deliver a hit. Much later. There's a fight. There's a fight between Picard and Harris. Two tough bastards going at it. And we have a 1-0 lead after 2 periods, so looking pretty good for us. A few minutes later, aggression. Tracy Pratt for 2. Transport Skiers. Pop-up power play goals. Jimmy Mack. Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy Mack. When are you coming back? Roberts is 6 from Sabrin and Berenson. So Berenson's got a pair of assists. We're killing the clock. Maybe Keenan stopped by Hodge. Larry Keenan was trying to score. Yeah, we're basically killing the clock here. Bill Hick can't do a thing. Empty net. Split. Mahone McCurry. Say fini from St. Marcel and Berenson. Berenson with 3 assists. Dude, I thought could score goals, but he scores assists. And we win the game 3-0. So Seth Martin gets another shutout. So we are on a streak. Melnick, Roberts, and McCreary with the goals. Berenson with 3 assists. Who knew he could pass the puck? I think they're telling him you could shoot when you have to. So anyway, on Thursday we head to LA to complete the thing. Oh crap! There's also a unwritten rule with the Leafs one that I had to do for St. Louis. You can't have the same team. You can't face the same team twice in a playthrough. Boston crushed Detroit 9-4 as Gale beat Crozier. Detroit goes by Libet, Floyd Smith, Gordie Howe, and Normie Ullman. I feel bad for Crozier. Andre Gill beat him well. Johnny Busick, Tommy Williams, Ed Westfall, Don Ellery, Westfall again, Eddie Shack, Vance Stanfield, Ed Westfall for the hat trick. And LA beat us 5-2 as Rutledge got revenge for what happened in the other game. We scored. Melnick scored, and then Don McKinney, but the Kings, Bill White. So we had a 129-minute streak, goal, shutout streak. Bill White, Brian Smith, Gray, Cowboy Flett, and Eddie Joya with the goals. Montreal Philly sees Montreal with a shutout. Sean with the shutout. Backstrom, Tremblay, Gilstrom, that is, Ferguson, and Russo with the goals. Friday, Toronto head to Pittsburgh and tied 1-1. Bauer and Binkley. Toronto was up 1-0 on a goal by Stamkowski, but Stratton scored for Pittsburgh. And Toronto has a road tie for the first time. Saturday, we would have hosted the Rangers, but of course, we lost. Chicago, Detroit. Chicago wins 4-3. Detroit beats Gardner. Detroit goes by Gordy, Libet, and Jarrett. Chicago goes by Warm, Dennis Hall. So Dennis Hall with a hat trick. Oakland, Minnesota. Soyuz, Otoy, Hodge, and Manico. As Cullen scored and then Bill Hicks scored. Oh yeah, yes, it was January 13th, 1968. Because the 15th, yeah, that was the game in which who got hurt? That being, Bill Masterton. Boston, Montreal. Montreal with a shutout. Johnston losing to Worsley. Chuck Lemaire, Terry Harper, and LaPerriere scoring for Montreal. We host for the Rangers, and we beat them 3-2. Jackman losing to Seth Martin. St. Louis goals by Melnick, Crisp, and Roberts after being down 2-0 next to Boom Boom and Reg Fleming. Pittsburgh, Toronto sees a tie. Toronto keeps getting ties now. Binkley and Gamble. Toronto, Mahovlich and Ellis with the goals. Pittsburgh goes by Day and Yabriko. Bafke with an assist. So Pittsburgh tries. We go to Chicago. So I guess it is Chicago. And I think that will finish it up. So we play the Blackhawks. And yeah, this will be the second time in the video we played the Blackhawks. But we won last game. Minnesota, Boston tied at 2. Manico and Johnston with a tie. McMahon and Parker McDonald. I don't see anything about Bill Goldsworthy, so I wonder. Philly, Oakland. Sees Philly shut out Oakland. Favel takes down Smith. Rushford, Gary Peters, and Ed Van Imp with the goals for the Flyers. We go to Chicago, and it will be Glenn Hall coming back to his old stomping grounds to face Denny DeJordy and the Hawks. We have Dave Dragon and Jack Norris in the net. Of course, Jack Norris was the byproduct of Boston trading to Chicago to get Phil Esposito. Bobby Hall still scoring goals. Dan Mikita still scoring at a high pace. Kenny Worm, Doug Moans, who was in hockey till he was 42. Dennis Hall, Bobby's younger brother. Pitt Martin, I believe that was the trade. Boston traded Pitt Martin to the Hawks in that move. Nesterenko still around. Chico Mackey, Wayne Mackey, who would be known in a couple of years for having played for the Blues and with that stick swing incident with Ted Green in the preseason. Pat Stapleton, Doug Jarrett, Paul Tenerbouche, Bob Orbit, Bobby Schmaltz as a Blackhawk. Wow. Pierre Pilote still around. Gary Goyer, Shields Marat, Tom Reed, and Doug Shelton. Let's see what we can do. 3 minutes into the game at the bottom. Chance for Dickie Moore. Stopped by DeShorty. Another 3 minutes later. Nikita, no. Pair minutes later. Chance for Marseille, no. 4 minutes later. Doug Moans, no. Much later. Larry Keaton, no. Just can't do it. Chance for the Hawks, Bobby Hall. Might stop by Glenn Hall. He knows his guys left, right, and center. So we're trying to knock down those Hawks. Aggression. Thanks a lot, Chicago. Doug Bones goes to the box for 2. Maybe we can get the better. Chance Steelers! Pop, purple goal. Da 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 da. La Marseille, his 5th from Melnick and Keenan. Makes it 1-0 Hawks. Much later. Blackhawks Chico. Not Chico time. Set by the Blues. Stopped by Glenn Hall. Another 5. Oh, got crunched. 2 minutes later. Red Berenson. Damn it, Berenson. Makita stopped by Hall. 1-0 Hawks. Papa Carlo goal. Then Makita threw back to straight third from Nesterenko and Smith. 1-1. Can't stop it. Blackhawks with the hit by Shields Marat. Papa probably goal with 13 seconds left. Burnt to a crisp. His 9th crisp from St. Marcel and Berenson makes it 2-1 Blues after 40. 1 minute later. Battle. Penalty of Blues. Plager for 2. Yikes. Lots gets me. Oh, Jet. His 31st from Nesterenko. 2-2. 1 minute later, a hit by us. Much later. It's Chico time to stick from Pat Singleton. 3 minutes later. Dougie Garrett and Chico time. It's 4-2. Looks like we've got ourselves fit after 2 periods. Second of the night. Tom Reed with this. That's an obscure name. Tim Martin trying to make it 6, but he doesn't. We lose 5-2. The Hawks just used that third period to teach us a lesson. Hall with 2 goals, Chico and Jarrett. So yeah, we scored twice, St. Marcel and Crisp. But in the end, it wasn't meant to be, and the Hawks win 5-2. All right, so Monday the 15th, Tuesday, Wednesday. We played Minnesota. Oh, yeah. So we would play Minnesota. Rangers Chicago. Hawks won 5-2 as Jackman lost to Dryden. Ranger goals by Goyette and Gilbert. But Blackhawk goal. Dennis L., Makita, Bobby Hull, and Chico Mackey. Detroit Montreal saw a 5-5 tie. Edwards and Worsley would tie. Detroit with goals by Floyd Smith, Bergman, Floyd Smith again, Gordie Howe, and Gary Jarrett. Montreal goals by Duff, Cornway, Ferguson, Cornway, and Backstrom. Pittsburgh at Oakland, a Golden Golden tie. Bassett and Smith with the tie. Pittsburgh goes by Ubreko, McCurry, and Leo Bovine. Oakland goes by Hick Caron. And Minnesota, well, do they have Goldsworthy crossed off or no? No, Masterton, sorry. Well, technically, Masterton's on the list, despite the fact that, he's dead. But I guess they said, well, player deaths don't happen much, and they want to give him a chance. So, I've been Seth Martin for Scary Bauman. Well, and we did lose, so technically we weren't supposed to play him anyway. I just wanted to see if Bill Masterton was technically on the list, and technically he is. We tied them 3-3 as Bowman and Martin tied. Minnesota was up 3-0. Boudreaux, Conway, and Goldsworthy. Masterton with an assist. So yeah, they don't kill Bill Masterton off in January 1968. But we scored 3. Ecclestone, Melnick. So we tie Minnesota. On the Thursday, Toronto at Boston. Boston with the big shutout win by Eddie Johnston, Sanderson, Busick, Dallas Smith, Pie McKenzie, and Espo with the goals for the Bruins. LA scores 8 on Pittsburgh. Poor Binkley. Robinson, Smith, White, Maynard, White, Gray, Irvine, and Bill White with the hat trick. Philly shuts out Minnesota 4-0. Minnesota has a lot more ties than losses. Favel beats Manico. Dornhofer, Eric Hoekstra, and Blackbird. Friday the 19th, Rangers at LA. Rangers win 4-1. Our next game, we can't have our next game. So we are being off for a while. Boston beats Philly. Montreal crushes Chicago 6-1 as Fashon beats Dave Dryden. Chicago goal by Stan Mikita, his 35th. Duff, Backstrom, Duff again. Redmond, Lemaire, and Cornway scoring goals for Montreal. Rangers Oakland. Rangers win 3-1. Detroit 7-0 on Pittsburgh. Gardner beats Bassett. Pittsburgh almost has the same amount of wins, losses, and ties. Gordie Howe went off for 2 for 17. Ullman 2 for 17. Jarrett, Bergman. So 3 different Red Wings with multiple goal seasons. The Leafs lose 4-1. How did Bauer lose to Bowman? Mike Walton scored for Toronto, but McDonald, Wojcicki, Connolly, and Parker McDonald. Our next game was in Philadelphia. We did lose. Boston with a shutout win over Chicago. Cheevers on Dryden. Pye, McKenzie, Busick, Tommy Williams, Shaq, and Ken Hutch Sr. Toronto goes to Detroit and wins 1-0. Conacher scored from Walter and Hillman. Bauer beats Gardner. Minnesota beats Pittsburgh 3-2. LA beats Oakland 5-2. And we lose to Philly 3-2. Seth Martin loses Melnick and Berenson with the goals. But Philly goes by Hannigan, Johnson, and Selby. 22nd, nothing. 23rd, 24th. We play hosting Minnesota again. Detroit beat Chicago 4-2. Oakland with a shutout in LA. Hodge doing the shutout on Sacha. Hick, Hampson, Burns, Hampson. How did we shut out LA? Boston beats the Rangers in a shocker. We crushed Minnesota 7-1 as Glenn Hall back in the net against Bellman. Calling from the court. Melnick, Berenson, McCreary, St. Marcel. Melnick with the hat trick. He's got 19 and Berenson has 15. So Melnick's getting his goals. Philly, Toronto. Philly shocks the world 2-1. So they'll over gamble. Bobby Pulford for Toronto, but the Forge and Forbes Kennedy. We play in Detroit. So Detroit will lead off our next video. Montreal, Boston. Boston with a shutout win thanks to Andre Gill, of all people. Espo with 2 goals, Stanfield. And Philly crushing Minnesota 6-1 as they don't kill Bill Masterton, but they kill his momentum. But anyway, nevertheless, we go to Detroit next time. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond.